Hey everybody, it's Tradius Trades and welcome to another special video presentation here. I'm going to present a topic today that if you take this under your wing and implement it into your trading, I am super sure, I can't guarantee, but I'm very certain that it's going to help you big time. So the title of the presentation is The Greatest Trading Book of All Time. And no one talks about it. Talk about clickbait, hey? Got to get people here because this is important stuff to learn about. So let's get started. Before we get started here, just to be clear, this is just a disclaimer. There's risk in these markets. I'm not claiming that you're going to make money, or in fact, you should be aware that you can lose money, and I'm not giving you any sort of investment advice here. So with that out of the way, let's get to the good stuff. So here I got a bunch of the classics, the great trading books that traders around the world love to read. There's so many of them. You've got the Reminiscences of a Stock Operator. That's an exciting book. Trading in the Zone, just a classic psychology book. Market Wizards and all of the Market Wizards books, just classics. And then of course you got Larry Williams, the COT Secrets book, all great books. And I'm not knocking these books. These are great books and super useful to read as a trader. But there's one book that's more powerful and influential than all of those classic books, and I'm going to give you guys a second to try to guess which one it is. Well, you've had enough time to think about it. Lots of you probably have already guessed, but it's the book that you are going to write, and that's also known as your journal. So your journal of your thoughts about the feelings you feel during your trades, the feelings you feel prior to putting on a trade, the feelings you feel after you put on it, after a trade is closed, and then the overall valuation of your process. How have you been sticking to your process and to your rules, and overall just how have you performed, and journaling about that. And we're going to get into why there's actually a lot of science and psychology behind why journaling helps people with dealing with tough emotions, and we're going to see why that's such an important part of trading. So trading is inherently stressful. So at the core of trading, we are making risk-based decisions in conditions of uncertainty. So those two words are underlined: risk and uncertainty. Risk creates stress, and uncertainty creates stress, and that's a natural response in our body. As human beings, that naturally happens, and as human beings also, it's in our nature to seek out comfort, certainty, familiarity, and control. So I bolded the word control there because that's a big thing that people struggle with in trading. Every trade, the outcome is out of your control. There's randomness in these markets. So inherently, you're dealing with things that stress us out as humans, and you're going against our human nature to try to be in control. You have to let go of control when you put on a trade. And a lack of risk and uncertainty activates the stress response in our nervous system. So that's just the first thing you need to be aware of. Trading isn't supposed to feel good. In fact, if you're risking a proper amount, you should feel some risk or some stress in the markets. If you don't feel any stress, chances are you're not risking enough money to even care about your positions to the point where you aren't stressed. And you shouldn't be so stressed that it's just driving you crazy and you're risking too much. You should naturally feel stressed. Okay, so what can't we control? So we can't control the outcome of the next trade. We might be able to control over the series of trades. If we have an edge in the market, we can perform with our edge. Then we can control our overall trajectory, most likely, but we can't control the outcome of the next trade. So that's where the natural feelings of uncertainty arise. Risking money causes natural feelings of stress, and it's natural to want to feel certain, and it's natural to want to feel safe, and ultimately it's natural to want to feel in control. So notice the word natural there. All of these things are completely normal. We shouldn't try to ignore them or pretend they're not there or try to make them go away, because they're not going to go away, because they're inherently part of who you are as a human being, and we all are the same. So here we are. We're wrestling with human nature. Since we know that natural response to the activity of trading is a stress response, and we know that we cannot control the outcome of our next trade, we face the ultimate reality of trading. We will constantly be wrestling with human nature. I don't know if there's any Michael Jackson fans in here, but classic song, Human Nature. And look at that guy wrestling. Man, those guys look incredibly strong. I wish I looked that strong. Crazy guys. So what can we gain control over? Well, we're going to learn about what we can control. So dealing with the emotions of trading are within your control. The facts that the emotions and the stressors are going to be there, that's just an inevitable fact. how you deal with them. That is where we can gain some degree of control, and we can practice and learn to gain control over how we observe and deal with these emotions. So you're going to feel happy, you're going to feel sad, you're going to feel scared, you're going to feel maybe upset or disgusted with yourself. Maybe you'll be surprised because these markets are inherently random. There's a lot of things that happen in the markets that we cannot predict. They are completely random. So you're going to feel a whole lot of emotions. So let's talk about the science behind journaling, because like we started this video, the most important book you're going to read in trading is the one that you're going to write every day at the end of the trading day. So that's journaling. So the science behind it is quite crazy. It's really cool. Research consistently linked the habitual tendency to accept one's mental experiences with greater psychological health. Journaling has proven popular and effective for treating clients experiencing anxiety, possibly because of an improved acceptance of negative emotions and a more helpful emotional response to stress. When journaling for stress management, processing our emotions in written form may even increase the likelihood that we reach out for social support. This in turn leads to emotional healing and improved resilience to stress. And I underlined resilience to stress because that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build resiliency to the stressful feelings we're going to feel, and the elation and the joy and the overall feeling of being unstoppable. We need to be resilient to that too, because that can be bad also. Journaling may create sufficient cognitive diffusion, looking at thoughts rather than being in them, to create the separation needed to accept our feelings and commit to the changes we need to make. So how do we journal? Journaling is a time to reflect on your performance, the outcomes of your trades, your mental state, and while on trades or anticipating trades, and also after trades. So this is where you learn about your personality and shine a light on the good and not so good aspects of your psychology and your performance. From this reflection comes the ability to track your progress and set goals for improvement. So I use the same prompts every evening. Every night I open my journal, I use the same prompts, and I'm going to share them in the following slide. And I give credit to Steve Ward, who wrote The Bulletproof Trader, a highly recommended book, and I learned these prompts from him. So let's get to it. So journaling prompts. How would you rate your trading today on a scale of 1 to 5? Something that went well in your trading today, something that did not go well in your trading today, something you learned about yourself or the markets today, a goal you would like to work towards to improve your trading performance, what is something that you are grateful for in trading or in life, reflect on specific trade outcomes, whether they're good or bad, and take note of errors or correct actions in the trade identification, execution, money management, and reflect on the emotions you've been feeling about the current positions or about the positions that you anticipate being in soon. So those are incredible prompts that really get you to reflect on your process. How have you been implementing your process? How have you been feeling during trades? You evaluate your performance and your emotions. So let's just briefly talk about commitment versus motivation. So motivation waxes and wanes. One day you might feel motivated, the next day you might, and that's why you can't rely on motivation to help you succeed in trading, and that's why you can't rely on motivation to determine whether or not you're going to journal. You need to be committed to journaling. If you're really committed to being the best trader, just view trading as one other thing you need to do every day to make sure you show up in every way possible to make sure you're getting better. And without journaling, you're not truly doing 100% of the things you can do that is within your power to be a better trader. So commitment to that is key. And commitment's going to attract success for you, like this little picture here says. So strategy, implementation, money management, and emotional control are all aspects that you must commit to always being better at. Can't just do it when you feel like it. You can't just implement your strategy when you feel motivated. You need to be committed to the process. It's a process, you guys. You got to be focused on doing the right actions that will in the end put you towards where you want to be, which is a successful trader. So commitment versus motivation, these are the 4 key differences. Commitment is a conscious choice, while motivation is an emotional response. Commitment involves long-term perspective, while motivation is short-lived. Commitment requires discipline, while motivation requires stimulation, and commitment is a sign of loyalty to yourself and your process, while motivation is a sign of interest. Are you interested in the markets or not? You need to be unwaveringly committed to this in order to succeed, and there's no in between. So commit to yourself to take back control of what you can control and start writing the best book on trading ever written. And the author is, point at you, it's you. As you are the guy trading, you are the one that's going to commit to being better, and this is the book. This is the one you need to write. So what are you guys going to do with this information? There's Ronald Reagan, you know, the classic quote, trust but verify. I've given you some really great journal prompts. I've shown you why journaling is so important. And why don't you just give journaling a shot? Commit to journaling and give it an honest shot, and then evaluate it in a month and say, was this helpful, or is Tradius crazy? Does this not help me at all? I think you're going to find that it really does help, and it's going to turn the corner for you in your trading. Test the prompts I provided. Do they resonate with you? Or is there another method of journaling or self-reflection that you prefer? Whatever works for you, that's what works for you, and it doesn't matter if it works for me or not. The key is that you're working on reflecting on your performance and your emotions, and making sure you're focusing on dealing with those emotions, not trying to eliminate them, coming to grips with the fact that trading is inherently stressful, and you need to embrace that and not try to shy away from it. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I have a free Discord that you can join. I share my COT setups. I share my price action analysis. We talk about psychology. We talk about fitness. We got a great crew of people in there. If you're interested, send me an email to tradiustrades@gmail.com and I will get you your private invite link. And make sure you like, subscribe, and share this video. If you're on X, formerly known as Twitter, follow me at Tradius_trades, and really look forward to interacting with you on the Discord or on the Twitter. And without any further ado, you guys, I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to this video, and until next time, goodbye.